You wake up to a headline that shifts everything. Travis Hunter, once seen as one of the NFL's most promising talents, is no longer part of the league's active roster. He didn't suffer a career-ending injury. There's no dramatic contract dispute. Instead, he's chosen to walk away, and not quietly. The reason? A storm of accusations tied to his ex-wife, Leanna Lenny, that now hover over everything he's built. In the days leading up to his exit, Leanna's social media began to send out signals, vague captions, screenshots with unsettling undertones, phrases that suggested more than just heartbreak. She never mentioned him by name, but the timeline lined up too perfectly. The public started piecing it together before any official word was spoken. Then came the silence. No posts, no explanations, just the growing weight of assumptions. Now, you see Travis's accounts gone. His agent released a single line. He's stepping back to handle personal matters. That's it. No denial, no specifics. And maybe that's on purpose, because behind that sentence, conversations are happening. Ones involving league officials, attorneys, and crisis teams. The NFL was reportedly preparing for its own internal investigation, possibly even a suspension, under their conduct policy, one that doesn't wait for courts to decide. It feels less like a pause and more like damage control. Maybe stepping away is his version of getting ahead of it all. But in the eyes of the public, the damage has already begun. His name isn't just in the sports pages anymore. It's trending in places that deal with allegations, not stats. And now, you're left watching a career unravel in real time, wondering if this is the end or just the beginning of something much bigger. You start noticing the shift. At first, it's just whispers, reposted messages, vague quotes, and speculation. But quickly, the mood turns. The same fans who once cheered for Travis Hunter are now calling him out. All it takes is a few leaked screenshots, and suddenly, everything feels different. The messages aren't officially confirmed, but they hit hard. One reads, "You made me do this. You pushed me here." Another says, "Don't act like I didn't warn you what happens when you cross me." You don't need names attached to feel the impact. The language is aggressive, unnerving, and it spreads fast. You scroll through Reddit, and every thread is dissecting tone, context, meaning. Twitter isn't any quieter. Hashtags start forming. Hunter exposed. Justice for Leanna. People are choosing sides even though the full picture hasn't been released, and yet it doesn't feel premature to most. Not when the silence from Travis's side remains deafening. There's no interview, no post, just a wiped digital trail and a growing sense that something's being avoided. Brands that once proudly backed him are going quiet. Sponsors you used to see in his highlight reels have started removing him from their campaigns. Commentators don't defend him anymore. They distance themselves. For many, the messages feel like proof of something hidden behind the image. You hear people ask why nothing was done earlier, why the league stayed quiet, and more urgently, what else is out there? Because if this is just the surface, what's beneath might be even darker, and you can feel the energy changing, not just around a player, but around an entire narrative that refuses to go away. You start to realize this isn't just about one player anymore. The weight of what's unfolding around Travis Hunter is now bearing down on the league itself. You watch as the NFL faces the same question being asked everywhere else. What are they going to do about it? The personal conduct policy isn't new, and you've seen it used before, sometimes too late, sometimes under pressure. But this time feels different. There are no criminal charges, no courtroom proceedings, just a flood of public outcry, screenshots, and the decision of one high-profile rookie to step away at the peak of his hype. And now, people want answers. You hear whispers that the league had already begun reviewing things behind the scenes, well before Travis made his move. But now, that quiet review doesn't feel like enough. Advocacy groups are speaking up. Former players are calling out hypocrisy. Journalists are bringing up past scandals the NFL failed to handle properly. All of it is being laid bare online, and you're watching it unfold in real time. The timing couldn't be worse. The league just ran a campaign about protecting women, about creating safe spaces. But now, Leanna's cryptic posts, raw, emotional, and filled with unsettling implications, sit in direct contrast to those promises. Screenshots get shared. Threads go viral. The longer the NFL stays silent, the louder the public gets. You're not looking at a sports controversy anymore. You're looking at a league caught between policy and perception, and every moment of hesitation is being seen as complicity. You're still trying to process everything when a new voice enters the chaos. Not from the league, not from Travis, but from Liana's family. A short statement is released to local media, and it immediately shifts the tone. It's calm, but firm. Her mother and sister don't name names, but they don't need to. You read between the lines easily. They mention past incidents, patterns, a growing concern that didn't start last week. They talk about trying to protect Liana, about encouraging her to walk away. One sentence lingers. This didn't start last week. It's just finally being seen. And suddenly, what looked like a recent fallout starts to feel like something much longer, something more calculated. You look back at old posts, that birthday message she posted, the video from a game day where she didn't look herself, and then there's the one that resurfaces, the photo with a black eye, captioned, "Clumsy me." It hits differently now. Before it seemed minor. Now it looks like a silent plea. Even people who used to be close to Travis are acting differently. One former teammate tweets something vague, then deletes it. Another leaves a one-word comment under a blog post. Karma. You're not sure what they know, but it adds to the unease. The silence from the NFL continues. So does Travis's, but you're no longer waiting on either. The story is being pieced together without them, and with every new piece, the picture becomes harder to ignore. You can feel it happening behind the scenes. The panic, the uncertainty, the breakdown of whatever plan was supposed to be in place. Travis Hunter might be off the field, but the situation around him is anything but quiet. The people closest to him are now the ones making the most noise, and not in a good way. You hear that his inner circle is divided. Some want him to speak out, issue a full statement, maybe even apologize. Others think silence is safer, but in the middle of that back and forth, things have started to leak. Conflicting reports, mixed messages, and now a real sense that no one is steering the ship. One quote stands out. A source tells a reporter the couple was simply dealing with normal marital stress. You read it and immediately know it won't land well. The backlash is instant. By morning, the quote is gone from the article, but screenshots are everywhere. Then there's the burner account. A random Twitter profile suddenly appears, defending Travis and throwing shade at Liana. But the language feels familiar, too familiar. You notice people pointing out private references, things only someone close to him would know. The account vanishes hours later, but not before the damage is done. Endorsements are pulling back. A sneaker deal goes silent. A sports drink company says it's reevaluating. It all adds up fast. And now, you hear talk that the NFL might step in, not because of charges, but because the brand itself is at risk. Whatever his team thought would work clearly isn't. The strategy is cracking, and for Travis, silence isn't protection anymore. It's starting to look like the loudest admission yet. You're watching the clock now, not for the next game, but for the league's response. And while no official punishment has been announced yet, it feels inevitable. That's what one NFL insider says in a quiet quote to the press. There will be consequences. It's just a matter of time. You can sense the shift. It's no longer about if Travis Hunter gets suspended. It's about when and for how long. You think back to the NFL's conduct policy, the one updated after too many past failures. It no longer waits for courtrooms or criminal charges. It acts on patterns, public sentiment, and perceived reputational harm. And right now, all three boxes seem to be checked. Screenshots, emotional posts, disappearing appearances. You don't need a conviction to feel something's wrong. Liana's Instagram post, the one with her saying, "I didn't think he'd go this far," is now being examined by league officials. It's vague, sure, but loaded with implication. You're told even tone and timing matter under the new policy, and in this case, the timing couldn't be worse. You notice his team's sudden silence. A planned media appearance disappears from the Jaguars' calendar. Players are reportedly being told to avoid reacting online. Even the smallest social media engagement could be interpreted as taking a side. Then you see the league's first indirect comment, a press release reminding everyone that all personnel are expected to uphold the standard. No names, but you don't need them. Petitions are gaining thousands of signatures. Commentators are calling this the NFL's next big test. The question hanging in the air isn't whether Travis will return, it's whether the league will risk letting him. You check your phone late at night and see it. A video, barely 2 minutes long, posted to Travis Hunter's Instagram story. It's dimly lit, filmed in what looks like a hotel room. There's no music, no edits, just him, finally speaking. And for the first time since everything started, you're hearing his voice. He looks tired, not the kind of tired that comes from training, the kind that sits in someone's eyes when they've been under pressure for too long. He speaks slowly, with pauses that feel heavy. "I've stayed quiet," he says, "out of respect, but this has gone too far." He never says Liana's name. Instead, he talks about people twisting private pain into public chaos. At one point, he shakes his head and cuts the video for a few seconds. When it returns, his voice is lower. "I didn't hurt anybody," he says. "I'm not hiding. I'll face what I have to face." You watch it all unfold online within minutes. The video spreads fast. Sports accounts repost it. Blogs dissect every word. Some call it genuine. Others say it's calculated. A few comment that he still hasn't taken responsibility. One former teammate writes under a reposted clip, "This ain't you, bro." Meanwhile, Liana remains silent. Her last story, still pinned, reads, "Time always tells the truth." You don't know what she's thinking, but her absence speaks just as loudly. Travis is now listed as inactive for personal reasons. His locker's been cleared. No official suspension yet, but everyone feels the same thing. This season for him is over before it ever really began. And whatever comes next won't be decided by a game or a coach. It'll be shaped by everything that's already been said, shown, and left unsaid.